Okay, so
All
you
right.
want to clap?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. So, this is your show. You gotta do the intro.
Oh, sorry. Welcome back to There Won't Be Nick. We are again joined by the absence of Nick.
Mm-hmm.
You all know me, Travis, and with me as always is TJ.
Hey.
We just got through a riveting conversation comparing board games to Criterion and A24 movies. I guess we'll have to continue this at a different time, maybe at the break. But stick around. Here comes an ad for There Will Be Duds. We'll play the whole first segment
Yeah.
just as a sample. And then, we'll be back with some hard-hitting investigative journalism.
Sounds good. See you then. Welcome back to There Will Be Duds. I am your co-host, TJ, a.k.a. J-Spot Jack Cheese, and with me as always.
Hi, I'm Nick, a.k.a. Dr. Funk on Twitch, and with me, as always...
As always, I'm Travis, a.k.a. the Super General.
And as always, we watched a movie. This
Dud
week.
week.
This week is our Dud week, yes. And
It's
we
Sweeps week.
watched... and we watched Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, directed by Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor, 2011. It continues the story of Johnny Blaze, the Ghost Rider from Marvel Comics fame. He's a man made a deal with the devil to save his father's life, and the flip side, what the devil gets is that he basically is possessed with this demon that kind of does the devil's bidding. Although in this movie, it's kind of informed by the previous movie. This is the second Ghost Rider movie. That like he's kind of severed his tie to the devil, but he's still the Ghost Rider. And basically, the devil really wants this little boy, and the Ghost Rider has to stop him, because don't want to let the devil. It's probably a bad thing what the devil wants to do, and yeah, it's like a action comic booky movie. There's a lot of action, pretty thin plot, but yeah. That's it. Okay. I'm interested to hear what you guys think, because I'm a little surprised if you guys. I thought this movie fucked so hard. I'm really surprised that you guys are like seeming to be lukewarm on it.
I think my hesitancy is that whenever there's a comic book movie, which I think has only been like Catwoman. I don't know if we've done another one, but like just comic book movies in general now, they're so like they blend together so much that they're all the same to me. It's really this is the hardest like genre for me to like decipher if it's like good or bad, because I'm just like,
Really?
yeah, I mean they look like really stylistic but they're all kind of the same. They have the same themes, and like they just bleed together for me. But in saying that, I don't think this should have been in the Dud Cup.
I said
I don't
that
think
before.
it was that bad.
I don't. I mean, I said that before, and that's why, like one of those movies that you suggested to me, you were like not sure if it should be in the good or the normal or Dud
Was
Cup.
it the Keanu Reeves one recently?
Yeah, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
even if it's not reviewed very well, there's a difference between like a bad movie and a Dud Cup movie, I think.
Right.
And I was like, I did feel a little weird about putting this one in the Dud Cup, but
yeah,
so,
like the
so
Discovery is not a dud movie. It's not,
but
not
it's
a Dud
way
Cup
worse
movie.
than
It's a bad movie.
yeah, it's way worse than Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance.
Right.
This is the ugliest movie I think I've ever seen.
Uglier than Son of the Mask? Fuck off.
I got color grading whiplash. I feel like it was like yellow and then green, and that like the first opening sequence, it went like it was. There were like scenes that were washed out, there were scenes that were like, and everything was done in that shaky cam style. That was like, I feel like it was unavoidable in like a certain period of time where like there'd be like intimate dialogue scenes and it'd be like the camera would be doing that shit.
And then it would cut back and it would be a steady shot. Like,
yeah.
moving.
Yeah.
No, my first note is like color grading is awful. I was like, I was not a fan.
The technical note that I had wasn't on the visual but on the audio, because I thought the sound mixing was terrible. I kept adjusting my volume. Like, half the people that talked, it was like they were fucking whispering or some shit, so I had to crank the volume up, and then immediately it'd be action scene and like yeah.
See, okay, I have to admit that I actually thought the colors were cool. I was like,
I didn't have an issue with the color grading as much.
They didn't go with the traditional like, oh, he's whatever, like he's a bad guy but he's a good guy kind of thing, and they didn't just go like really dark, like Batman style, like color grading, like really muted colors. They went like very vibrant. I don't know. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it, I guess.
I'm fine with vibrant colors, but I feel like it just shifted between. It's like they had 3 different people color correct this movie, but then they put like a combination of all 3 of their different color correction versions, and it would change from scene to scene. And I think that's what was just like, and I guess I do appreciate a movie that just doesn't, that just spares you all of like the lead up bullshit, and like, because this movie literally it's Idris Elba on a motorcycle, and he goes to this weird techno monk cave where they have like the Jason Bourne computers like in their thing.
It's Zion from the Matrix.
Yeah, I was getting Matrix sequel vibes to this.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like what I was feeling.
Besides the colors, because Matrix is just green and gray.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it just kicks right off. There's just like, all right, gun battle, and then we're back on the road and we're done with this place.
I thought of from Justin to Kelly, like how quickly that one just puts you right into the action. This was like right around the same like 2-minute mark in your like motorcycle chase.
Yeah. I guess I thought with like the colors, I do see how it could be seen as like, kind of seesawing. I think it was just more that like a lot of movies have like a consistent like tone that they want to like convey with the color, so they kind of stay in the same like wheelhouse, where this was like us making a movie and we just go outside and then we like shoot it, and then we're like, okay, that was like really bright and green and we were out in the forest, and now let's go to the city. And they just like, they didn't like adjust it to make a consistent theme throughout it. They just took the saturation bar and like cranked it up like 50% and like that's it. So there's no like, from scene to scene there's no consistency, because it'll be like a nighttime like fight scene in like an alley, and then it'll be like they're racing across like a mountain range type thing.
Right.
So they didn't,
there's one in particular where I think it's after like all of the monks get not diseased, but when he
decays
melts them with his decay thing.
Yeah.
I feel like when they go there, I feel like that scene, it was like so washed out to the point where like you could only see like Nicolas Cage, Idris Elba like talking to each other. Like everything else was like, it's like, you know, that thing where every show that features like Mexico, they just make it like that one yellow color.
Yellow,
That's kind of what it looked like.
Yeah.
Or if it's from like the 70s, if it's set in the 70s, it's like yellowy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Muted colors. Yeah, I will say that like I was fairly distracted when I watched this movie, because I knew it was a dud movie, so I was like, I'm not going to be super invested. But also I've had a sick wife and a sick dog the whole time, so you know, kind of all over the place, I guess, doing stuff. And she's like down in the basement, quarantine, so like every couple hours I have to bring like some food down and toss it through the slot, and then take the poop bucket out and do that whole thing.
Wearing a hazmat suit.
Yeah.
Like the radiation like pinchers. You're like,
Yeah, like Chernobyl.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I had the volume up and I was listening, but I couldn't really tell you what happened in this movie, I guess, besides the fact that like there was a kid that they wanted and Ghost Rider wanted to not have that happen, and that was it.
I mean, like where this does kind of like fall in line with dud movies, I guess, is just like the plot itself is paper thin, and
Yeah, there's nothing.
It's not. There's not too much. But like, if anything, that's like special about it.
Right.
But I love and it's more the actors than the writing. But like, I love like, I really liked a lot of the characters because, like, you know, Nicolas Cage is doing his thing.
He's doing
Elba.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, Idris Elba is like
Not enough of it, if you ask me. Could have been more.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a little inconsistent.
maybe.
I was like, the first time he did like a Nicolas Cage thing, I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting that in like a superhero movie. I thought he was going to be playing it like, you know, kind
Pretty
of straight. And then it didn't happen again until like kind of towards the end of the movie. And I was like, well, damn, why didn't we have more of that? They should have just let him do his thing.
Well, see, I feel like I kind of got like a little bit more of that because I knew that Nicolas Cage did the mocap for like he also performed when he was the Ghost Rider, and there's so much of him going like and like shaking his head and stuff. So I was like kind of seeing Nicolas Cage doing that. Yeah, I was gonna say even like Idris Elba is like this alcoholic French like ex-monk guy or whatever. I thought Kieran Hines was really good as the devil, like just chewing the scenery and all that. So
Yeah.
you know, just like I like that there's all these like really good actors in this just really dumb action movie, just giving it their all with these like zany performances.
Except for the mom. I thought the mom was terrible.
I mean, it was primarily those three that I really liked, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the kid was okay, but I thought the
kid was
mom was like terrible. The mom was like a Neil Breen actor. Like,
She was
really,
honestly like the most forgettable character in the movie,
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah.
She seemed like a Russian mail order bride. That was like
She did the movie to get her visa.
right. And she like just learned English. She doesn't even know like grammar or anything. They just memorized sounds and I don't know. It was so bad. That was like the most distracting part of the movie to me was her acting.
Yeah, like I'll say I liked this movie a lot, but I think maybe I went into it like fairly prepared, knowing what I was getting into, because these two directors they're the same guys that did the Crank movies.
I can see that.
If you are aware of those, they're just these high octane, just like crazy, just nuts to butts sort of like action movies. And like this, you know, this feels like Crank but with Ghost Rider, with like superhero comic elements. And so I think if you go into it expecting that, maybe it's like, and you can go along like with that ride. But also watching the first one before this, inversely to watching Suicide Squad before the Suicide Squad, that I think maybe kind of tainted the Suicide Squad a bit because of how terrible the first one is. I watched the first Ghost Rider and I was like, I gave it a 4, but I was like, it was really fun, but it's still like not good. That one, I'll give you, Travis, is very like, you'd watch that one and it's like interchangeable with like any superhero movie from that time.
Right.
But I was like, yeah, you know what? I was kind of, maybe I was feeling positive because like, you know what? It's like an easy watch, you know, it's Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider, sure, it's dumb fun, whatever. And then after I watched this one, I was like, that first movie
dumb
sucks.
fun and full of cum.
Yeah. I was like, that first movie sucks. Like compared to this, I'm like, it's lifeless. There's no character. There's no finesse or style or anything. It's so generic. This
Yeah,
one
I mean-
has like the first time you see the Ghost Rider, I loved like the first time he transforms and like you don't see him, and then you see like Idris Elba goes out the door and you see like the trail of flame down the road.
Yeah.
That whole thing
It's
was so cool. There's just
Yeah.
style. I like that this
really
movie had
good
style.
character design. Not
Yeah.
from just this movie. I'm just saying the character itself. I didn't think,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Ghost Rider's such a lame thing. He's like some like Ichabod Crane type thing or something.
yeah.
But
I
then
mean-
like you see him, I'm like, actually he's kind of badass.
He is kind of
Yeah,
badass.
I did not clock this as a comic book movie at all. Like
Oh,
I
really?
didn't.
You knew
I mean,
it was,
no, I mean, like
right?
I knew that it was.
Okay. It just didn't.
But
No,
like if you were
I know what you're saying.
if you were to strip like the Marvel stuff at the very beginning away from it, not because it's like a fantastical story, but like Travis was saying with like story beats, I guess I will give the movie that it did not stick to like that Marvel like hero's journey,
Right.
format.
Right.
Because this movie, now that you say directed by like the Crank guys, is like, a Marvel movie would not have like a gunfight a minute and a half in, and then
Yeah.
like
Right.
we're on the road. Like, if it was like a Marvel movie, like how they are now, it would be like 10-minute exposition dump. See, we're in this lab, and I've got a clipboard, and I'm giving you exposition points right
Here's
here to
5
tell you
other
exactly who the bad
characters.
guy is. Like, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But this movie's just like, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Let's go. Johnny Blaze. Gotta find him.
You get like
It's
a little
definitely
20-second thing, like I'm Johnny Blaze. This is what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that art was like really cool. I thought all that
Yeah.
style of art,
Uh-huh.
I thought it was really cool looking. But yeah, this is more like an 80s action movie or something. Like just like, we know what you want. Here's your slop, little piggy. Come and get it. Here's your gunfights.
Pretty much, yeah.
Here's your fire guy on a motorcycle with the chains and shit. Like
And
that's
call
what you
me-
want.
Call me Abner because I ate
And
that
call
shit
me in
up.
the morning.
Yeah, I feel like the target audience of this movie is
8-year-olds.
or like like small town like white guy rappers who wear like Affliction tees,
Yeah.
like that
Guys
seems
who
like,
watch UFC.
yeah,
Or
he's,
the char-
he's so badass.
The
Yeah.
characters from the Grandpa Crane short, bro. That's who it appeals
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. You gotta
Guys
get the
who
Ghost
listen to,
Rider
like-
3D app.
Because
Guys who listen to Trapped and
Yes, like
which-
Chevelle and Trapped and
Yeah.
Stained.
the
butt
unfinished sequel. Well, I should say unfilmed. I did finish the script. The unfilmed sequel to Bro was going to be us attending the sequel or attending the premiere of this movie, and
like you actually
I'm
got
really
invited
bummed we
to the
never got.
premiere.
Yeah, I'm really bummed we never got to do that one.
So I was looking into the Wikipedia on this the other day. Actually, I was looking into the info on the first one, like who was in it and stuff. And I stumbled on the dude who directed and wrote the first one has a very interesting filmography. He's mainly a writer, but he wrote Grumpy Old Men, Grumpier Old Men. I don't know why I did the
my God.
emphasis like that. Simon
God.
Birch. He directed that as well. Then he wrote Jack Frost, Daredevil,
which
and directed
the
The
Michael Keaton
Michael
one.
Keaton one.
Okay.
Yeah, wrote and directed Daredevil, executive producer on Elektra,
Oh my
Ghost
God.
Rider, writer and director, producer on Spirit of Vengeance, story for the Christopher Robin movie with Ewan McGregor,
Okay.
and then I mean that's basically it. But it's just like he kind of did like Grumpy Old Men, Grumpier Old Men, Simon Birch, and then he did Jack Frost, and then he was like, hey, actually, shitty movies make money too. So then he did a stretch of Daredevil, Elektra, Ghost Rider, and Ghost Rider 2. And he was just like, I found my fucking wheelhouse.
Yeah.
When I was talking about how generic
Something dark happened on the set of Jack Frost.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe Simon Birch, because Simon Birch just kind of fucked up, like,
Yeah.
the ending of that movie. So maybe it was just like, he just started drinking or something. Drove through a snowstorm, and he was like, damn, what if I died right now.
He just got existential. He's got a harmonica. He's like, wait, there's something here.
Yeah.
When I was talking about how generic, like, comic booky the first Ghost Rider was, I was thinking of Daredevil and, like, Elektra, like, exactly like those.
Yeah. Yep. And it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I was saying that. That's funny.
The cast for the first Ghost Rider is also
it's
pretty stacked.
Pretty solid, but that's the thing is like no, like maybe Peter Fonda, like he's kind of fun, but other than that, it's like I don't know. It's just Nicolas Cage, you know. There's not as many like fun characters or whatever.
I don't remember this movie to the extent that like I can't. A lot of times when I do my notes, I don't do like thorough notes. I just do like, you know, the thing that pops into my head.
Yeah.
So, like I put this movie kicks ass, peak Nick Cage, and then the quote, he's scratching at the door. I don't remember.
I think.
how
Wait,
that's
did I take that
delivered.
note too?
Was he like he's scratching at the door? I don't know.
Scraping at the door. I have that note too.
Yeah. He goes, he's scraping at the door.
He's scraping at the door. Scraping at the door.
Oh yeah, okay.
And that's when like they have the visual effects, like his eyes, like he's like like bubbling, like he's about to turn.
I had.
Oh, that's right.
knew-
That's right.
I had, from that same scene. I had.
You will tell me I would eat just thinking so good.
And then also at the end of it, after he's done interrogating the guy, he's like, "And you're not gonna tell anyone about this, are you?" And the guy's like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, okay, all right, that's a good answer." And then he just leaves him.
Or when he kicks the dude off when they're on like the semi thing, and then he gets run over, and he's like, "Roadkill."
Yeah, that was
I wrote down a roadkill too.
that fight. I thought that fight was rad. Just like staying on the hood of the car, like he fucking kicks him up into the air, and the guy just lands right back on the hood of the car.
Did you catch who the monk with all the shit on his face was?
Lord Raiden.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. How can you not with his voice? Like,
Right.
he can't not do that voice.
Oh,
Dude,
Also, Idris had a really good line too, where he said, "I thought," or Nick Cage is like, "I thought we were supposed to have faith," and then Idris Elba's like, "I do, but we should also have weapons."
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
That's kind of what I mean. It's very like 80s action movie where it's like,
Yeah.
or I mean, even like The Matrix is kind of like that. The first one where it's like, guns, lots of
Yeah. I was also laughing at the part where like, so yeah, where the boy gets taken and they're like at this amphitheater to do this weird ritual, and they're both just like doing like that shit. But I love
Were
that
you
like
doing
the mom.
Camp Lynch, Travis?
Yeah.
No, I was doing Phantasm.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
But I like how the mom character had like a high powered sniper rifle, but it was just like, pew.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I know the silencers exist and you could probably, but like, I don't know. Like it sounded like the silencer from like the GoldenEye N64 game.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a high-powered sniper rifle. With a silencer would not make it sound like a little handgun going.
Right.
Pew.
Yeah.
I just thought it made me laugh. It was just like dropping. It's like
When it got to that end scene and like the devil's plan was like revealed, I wrote down Hereditary with Nicolas Cage. Is what this movie was.
Yeah. Speaking
including
of
the immolation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the weakest plan ever. It seemed like
Yeah.
like it was really not. It was so like, I don't know, like if the have you ever had a dream kid like wrote a movie? Just like so straightforward. I don't know. Did you guys ever see the video where it was like whatever present day and that dude like did an interview? Have you ever had a dream kid? And he
no.
like described what was like going through his head.
No, maybe I have. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
I don't think it came out too long ago, but basically in the follow up this interview, he's like talking about how he was trying to do this speech from Hercules because it was like his favorite movie or something, and he really
Sweet.
thought that like it was like this like deep like monologue that he like in the moment he thought he was nailing it. He thought he was like nailing it. It was like an audition for like
That's
a TV
funny.
show or something like that they just like came to his school, and then like at the end he's like that you could do anything or something like that, and he like leans back.
Yeah.
Like he says that he thought that he fucking nailed it. He was like, I did it. I
he
fucking
does
nailed
do
it.
that at the end.
So that's what I was saying when I said it was the have you ever had a dream kid? Because it's like this dude
That's
like
not bad.
dropped the pen and he was like, I fucking nailed that. But really, it's a terrible script. It's so basic.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. That is like a really good analogy for it. Fuck, I thought I
Did
was
you
gonna say
catch
something else about
the giant piece of machinery that
The
he
bat.
used?
I was gonna bring that up because I was like, how did you
Yeah.
guys not think this movie was rad when he fucking turned the Bagger 288 into a fucking Ghost Rider machine? That was
Yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize it until I was reading the Wikipedia and I was like, Bagger 288. I know what
How do
that
you not
is.
fucking recognize that thing? It's like,
What's it described as a monument of gore in like that
yeah,
video?
I think so.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Uh.
You guys
oh,
catch the Wilhelm scream?
yeah, I did. I almost
Okay.
wrote that down, but yeah, I did.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like right before Roadkill. He kicked a guy out of
Mhm.
the truck and he's like, ah!
Yeah. I actually wrote down. I forgot about this when you were talking about how it's like every other comic book movie. I wrote because this came out in 2011, so it's right before the first Avengers, but after like basically all the other like first wave Marvel movies. And I like that like this avoided like influence. Like it definitely doesn't like Nick said, it doesn't feel like an MCU movie, and it's not, but it doesn't feel like an MCU movie. Like it feels like its own thing to me.
It felt like Constantine to me, which is another
yeah,
comic book movie
kinda.
that doesn't feel like a comic book movie.
Except there was one bit, and this is funny because it's before Joss Whedon even was involved with the MCU. But there was he literally says, "So that just happened,"
Oh,
which is
Uh-huh.
a Whedonism thing. I thought that was funny because yeah, Joss Whedon like he hadn't kind of done his influence to like the comic
Right.
book world by then.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, a non-ironic. Like
Yeah.
I've only heard that phrase like as a detractor to those kind of movies, and I was like, oh, that was like a genuine one. Like before it was like that was the sense of humor of those movies.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing that made me at least like respect this movie is you guys should watch like behind the scenes on this movie because it's the directors like doing a lot of the filming, and like these dudes go fucking hard. Like a lot of those like there's shots of them doing like those car chases, like those fight scenes, and you'll see like the directors are like on the road on like fucking rollerblades, like being pulled by cars, just like right there, like holding the camera like by the cars. Or like there's one where in that opening scene where Idris Elba like crashes his motorcycle into the side of the bridge, and he like flies off the side, and he's like in the air, and he turns around and like shoots the car or whatever. So
Yeah.
they actually filmed that. Which is weird because, well, I mean, they probably spliced it together, but like it looked really bad for a second. But you'll see like they actually like threw a stuntman off the side of the thing, and the director's like hanging from a helicopter, like swinging on these like trapeze thing, like to get the shot or whatever. It's
Oh
really
my
cool, like
God.
all the shit that they, like the lengths that they go to get the shots that they want. So you know,
Yeah, it's like it's like if
respect-
George Miller made this movie because
like
Mad Max Fury Road is like all practical like that.
I thought I thought of Mad Max Fury Road watching this movie, like totally. It gives me those kind of vibes. Yeah.
Another note that you guys can help me decipher possibly is
Okay.
he's so disturbed by them not wearing shoes. I don't know what part of the movie that's from, but
I'm guessing it's with the monks. That seems
Maybe.
like they would.
Nicolas Cage is
Groups of
disturbed by them.
That's all I wrote. It's
You
just
know?
like
Okay.
I have no idea. It's after he's scraping at the door, and I do have faith, but we should also have weapons. I honestly don't know. It's again
Probably the monks then. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just seems right to me.
to re-emphasize the
The amount of time you paid, like the level of attention that you paid this movie.
well, and that the the Marvel comic book movie thing of it, where they're all the same. I just don't. They don't. It's like I'm there for an hour and a half, and then it's over, and then like I forget that it
Memory
happened.
wipe.
Yeah, like it's like some kind of traumatic event where in like 4 years I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll remember the plot of Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance.
But until
I'll be,
then,
like,
your hard
sweating.
drive is wiped, waiting to be recovered.
Yeah.
I said this in the chat when Travis, you were talking about how like you didn't want to watch the first one because like anything in that one would be a spoiler for this or whatever. And I was like I have a feeling what I know of this one that like it's not gonna matter, and it didn't. Like there was so much shit that they
No,
just like
I mean-
retconned from the
Yeah.
first movie. Like it shows him like, I mean, you only see it in like the really quick flashes where he's like doing like the recap basically, and like, oh, I made a deal with the devil. But it shows him like, it shows him like cutting his hand and like, putting it on the contract. In the first one, it's like he doesn't even mean to do it. He hands him the paper, and he like it's like a scroll, and he rolls it out, and basically there's like this little needle at the top. So the devil tricks him basically. That like pricks his thumb, and it drops a drop of blood on the thing, and the devil like takes that as so one, it's like completely different. It's like he doesn't even technically agree to it.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's really bad. It would be so much better if he was like, if they put him in a situation where he was desperate and like that was the only thing that he could do to like save
it's
whatever his mom.
it's well, he does it to save his dad. His dad's like dying of cancer.
Oh, okay. Well, there
He
you go.
does it to say, and they say that in this one too, but it's
Yeah.
it's literally like half a sentence. But then the thing is that like the next day, the devil like the devil causes his dad to get into an accident, so he dies anyway.
Yeah, so it's like getting a wish from a genie. You have to be very specific in
Or, like,
how you word things.
But
It's
Dazzle.
the monkey's paw.
Yeah, yeah. I do like that sort of Evil Dead 2ification of the intro, because like when you watch Evil Dead 2, it's just like, yeah, me and it like erases all of the other characters. Like, yeah, Linda and I went to this cabin in the woods and we found an ancient book, and then things went bad, and it just like boom, 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 just like super abbreviated.
Yeah,
Like yeah.
You could like it doesn't feel like a comic book movie. It doesn't feel like a sequel. Like you can totally watch this one by itself and not have to watch the first one, which is good,
Right.
because like now that I've watched this one, I'm not as positive on the first one.
First one's hour 50. I was like starting this
Yeah.
last night, and I was like, I kind of want to watch the first one just to get, and then I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's just that one is more like generic. Yeah, just forgettable. It's
I mean,
I had fun when I watched it, but yeah.
what's funny is that I think most like origin story MCU movies are like the best. Maybe it's because I haven't seen the characters as much by the third or fourth time, third or fourth movie. But those are like my favorite ones. But also at the same time, like we don't need like half of a movie to like, well, more than half of the movie to like do the exposition. We could just you could just do that for almost everybody. Captain America, you could be like, oh, there was the Red Skull, and we needed a superhero, so we did this, and just do that whole little, comic book looking thing, and then boom, we're right into Captain America movie, and it's not all about him turning and stuff. But at the same time, I like Captain America. That's like one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite Captain America movie. Maybe I don't know.
The first one.
Yeah, most of the origin story ones are like my
such a
favorite
fucking
one.
contrarian.
Really?
Shithead. Yeah. That movie.
I guess
that movie.
I know
is,
everybody loves
I,
like Civil War, but
I like the first. I like the first half of Captain America. Like it's pretty decent. Once it gets to the war part, it's like, oh my god, it's
Yeah.
so like
Maybe.
one note and so forgettable after
I just
that.
See, you need these guys to go in there with their shaky cam to make it look like Saving
Yeah.
Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
I
just
don't-
like have fun action and not have boring generic action. Like all the fight scenes in this I thought were just so much fun. Like, yeah, the
Oh,
shaky
yeah.
cam doesn't work as much for those like quieter moments, but I don't give a shit. I'm watching Ghost Rider.
yeah. You can see where I'm at with my life.
Yeah.
Watching Ghost Rider, so
Yeah, this movie is kind of like the perfect movie for you. It just like it skips all the bullshit. It skips the story to get you a tight 90.
right. It knows what it is.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you 90
exactly.
minutes. I'm gonna give you fights. I'm gonna give you action. It is an 80s action movie. It is a
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger or Stallone. It's Cobra. It's like this off the beaten
Oh,
path
yeah.
like
Put Cobra in the cup.
action
I think
movie where it's just
I
like
think it is. Oh, all
Here you
right,
go.
but-
here's guns and muscles
yeah.
and
Yeah.
fucking punches.
When we were talking about like 80s quotes too, we didn't even mention, not counting his little like epilogue thing, the final line of the movie is, "Did we win? Yes. Hell yes."
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say yes. Hell yes.
Yeah.
So fucking tight.
I do think that like I don't know. It's like I was trying to think of like an analogy or metaphor, but it's like the script is terrible. It's kind of like shit. I think it was like Flight of the Conchords or something. They went to like a school, like a kindergarten, and they were like, "Oh,
Yeah, yep.
what do you
Yeah.
want?"
They had the, yep.
and they had like
know what
they
you're
asked
talking
them questions, and they used
It was
the
writing a
answer-
song
Yeah, and they
for like charity.
yeah, they asked them questions, and then they used the kids' answers, and they wrote that as a song. But the song is actually good. Like it's entertaining.
Yeah.
But the performance is great, but the words are gibberish, and that's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what this movie feels like. Because like I thought Nick Cage like he was pretty legit. Like you could tell that he didn't just like it wasn't just a paycheck for him. He was like, I'm gonna like try. This is still art
Yeah.
to me,
Is that-
and. But like the script is terrible, so it's like
Yeah.
like this serious. It's like imagine Leo performing like the script from like Wet Hot American Summer, but like as if he's trying to win an
That'd be
Oscar,
awesome.
like
Yeah.
as if it's The Revenant. He's like serious, like that's what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hell.
I still like. It's funny you say that Flight of the Conchord song. I sing that a lot more than you would think. The chorus, the feel inside and stuff like that.
The hell yes ending, for some reason that makes me think of like the ending of They Live, where it's like like there's no like final line, but like literally Rowdy
Oh.
Piper's last thing is just flipping them off, and then he like explodes.
Yeah.
It's like the same sort of like dumb guy, just like, oh yeah, well, he's like,
Yeah.
we won, hell yes. Like that's it. That's all you need.
I
Like, it's written by like kids smashing action figures together.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, dude, the fucking like I love movies that are like this, trying to be this like, ooh, you know, over the top like heavy metal type shit, but then like they actually like pull it off, like when you know, the end where the bad guys have Nicolas Cage, they just killed Idris Elba, and he looks at the kid and he's like, do it. And like the kid goes up to him and doesn't. It's not like he just touches him, and he turns back into the Ghost Rider. The kid fucking jumps on him and like breathes fire into his face. Like I was like, when that happened, I was like, fuck yes! Like it was so good. And then how he like kills the devil by like.
Go
like,
home.
Yeah.
Slamming. It's so
Yeah,
good.
It's kind of like that moment in Avengers where it's like Loki and Hulk, and it just like kind of, you know, he's like I can't remember what
Oh,
Loki says,
yeah.
but then
Yeah.
you're just like, it's like kind of unexpected almost, where it's so awesome, and like he just like picks Loki up and he just like
He
slams
ragdolls
him back
him.
and forth, and you're like, okay, that was fucking radical.
Yeah.
Where the fuck
the
did
best
that come
part
from?
of that movie.
Yeah, and that's like what that was. It was just like, fuck yeah. It's
Yeah.
like very like you can almost feel it. You can feel it like hit you when you
Yeah.
see it. You're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. And like, the devil's like, worst fucking deal I ever made. Like,
Yeah.
like all
It's corny.
Yeah, Kieran Hines was great. Like,
Yeah. The only thing that kind of maybe took me out of it with like Ghost Rider himself was like at the beginning I couldn't really tell what he was trying to do. It's probably in the book. But it's like the first time you see him and he's like surrounded by dudes and they're like I think they're like I don't remember if that's the part where they're like shooting him and he's like sucking the bullets in through his mouth or something.
And then he like spews like the molten lead. Yeah.
But then there's this dude that he just like walks up to and he like grabs, and then he's just like looming over him and he's just like and the guy's just like terrified. Great acting by that guy. Just like kind of like a featured extra. And I'm just like it like that felt like it went on for 10 minutes where he was just like staring the guy down, but I was like wow, that was like actually pretty like it kind of makes you think like, yeah, that would be fucking terrifying seeing this fucking skeleton with like black eye slots and flaming head, and you're just like, fuck.
Well, I thought that was gonna, because like in the very abbreviated like prologue, he talks about like collecting souls for the devil. So I thought that was gonna be one of those moments where he's just like, I'm gonna suck the soul out of this guy, and like
fuck yeah,
like similar to like a
get a
Dementor, I
grapefruit.
guess, in like Harry Potter or whatever. I thought it was gonna be like he doesn't burn this guy and kill him. He was gonna like suck the soul out of him, and then the dude was just gonna be like a husk on the ground because like he got slurped up. What?
I can't hear you say suck the soul out of him and not think of like the grapefruit lady or like getting a really crazy blowjob and just the soul. But I think that might be what it is, and he was like fighting with himself internally to be like, I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to serve the devil or whatever.
Yeah,
but they don't really make it clear. But you're probably right. That's probably what it was.
I was waiting for it. I wanted to see him suck that dude inside out.
Yeah, I wanted to see him suck his soul dry.
I'm watching the scene right now to see how that guy ends up. But I mean, I can
he just
100%
vaporizes.
Explain. He does.
Yeah, he turns into dust. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very PG-13. There's no if
you
they had like
see
that,
the penis.
So I mentioned this last week actually. What this was, I wasn't sure if they did it in this movie, but he bursts into flames. But that's remember I mentioned when we were talking about like how his penis is a skull too. It's the penance stare. That's what it's called.
That's
it's
even
a comic
closer
book
to
thing, and he does it more in the first movie, and they like explain it more in the first movie. But it's basically like he's staring into your soul and making you like atone for all of the sins that you've done, and it basically like it just fries you so that that is him sending the souls to hell pretty much.
Oh wait, so
it's
that
just
was
he
in the
only
first
does
one?
it. Yeah, and they
okay.
explain it more the first time.
Okay.
Or in the first one. And I think I feel like I heard them say penance stare like once in this movie, so maybe they like mention it very briefly.
So it's like the only acknowledgement of the first one besides like the 2-minute like.
There's like I mean, even the whole fucking thing. Like I was like, are you kidding me? When like you see him and he's like a recluse and he's like, oh, I'm trying to keep it. I don't want to blah blah blah. The first movie fucking ends with the devil showing up after he kills the bad guy and being like, all right, you held up your end of the deal. Let me take back the Ghost Rider. You're good. You're free. It's like, really, the devil, I guess at least he holds up his end of the bargain. He's like, okay, you're good. You can go live your life normally. And Nicolas Cage is like, no, I'm gonna own this curse and use it to defeat you. And then this movie starts with him being like, oh, I need to get rid of this curse.
It's like he realized the consequences of it. He's like, oh shit, actually this blows.
Yeah.
He hadn't yet like had to take a piss yet. So then like the first time he took a piss, he's like, oh fuck, I can't work with this. I gotta get rid of this curse.
He
How am
does
I
piss
supposed to
fire.
plow?
Canonically confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does he come then? Lava?
Yeah, that's what he, when that dude shot all the bullets into his
Yeah.
mouth. That's
He's
he was-
snowballing him.
he was snowballing him. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Shit.
This guy did write Jack Frost, so
Oh shit. Yeah. Nope. I'm the snowman. I'm the snowball. You.
Gross.
Also, another just outright rejection of the first one is it's written into the first one that the Ghost Rider can only be the Ghost Rider when it's nighttime, and I think that's literally just as like a plot contrivance, to be
Right.
like, oh, he can't fight these guys for too long because the sun's coming up, and then this movie they just like, no, he can.
Right. Like the final
doesn't
fight
matter.
scene, like on the truck and shit. That's during the
It's
day.
all during the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say because there is a little thing in the Wikipedia article that says that I think when the kid like breathes fire back into him, it like lifts that curse or something like that. There is
Okay.
it is mentioned in the article that that's like a thing that happens.
Okay.
That's so stupid because like
That is not
why
explained, but
and
okay.
how and like it doesn't matter though. It doesn't like that's the
Yeah,
thing.
it doesn't matter.
This is the kind of movie where that shit doesn't bother you because that
Yeah,
know.
I didn't really care.
Like you don't
Yeah.
care that it doesn't. They don't have to say anything. They could change. They could like in one scene set something up and say the Ghost Rider can never like be within 5 feet of a tree, and then the next scene it cuts to him and he's like doing Rocky training and he's just like fucking punching trees, and I'd be like, yeah, dude, I don't care. Fucking yep.
Yeah. I don't
Cool.
think it was telegraphed at all in the movie, but it says Kerrigan kills Moreau while Danny returns the Ghost Rider to Johnny. Danny grants the Rider the ability to stay in Rider form even in broad daylight. The Rider then pursues Rourke. So I didn't know that was even a thing. Like I feel like they didn't even mention it at all. And then the Wikipedia article is just like, oh yeah, by the way, Danny does this and now he can do this in the daylight.
That's the kind of thing that if this was Star Wars.
Just like who cares? Don't even mention it. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that if this was Star Wars, Star Wars fans would be like irate and being like, it's so bad and it's not in the spirit of Star Wars.
He's not supposed to be able to do that.
Yeah,
Canonically, he can't.
He doesn't do that
Yeah.
until he goes to the forest on Yavin 4 and
Yeah.
recovers his lost crystals.
After reading like 50 like Star Wars books and like spin-offs.
right. And this is coming from a person who has read 50 Star Wars books.
Yeah, so- that's the thing. Yeah, right. I know a lot of Star Wars lore, but goddamn,
Yeah.
Star Wars fans,
They suck.
biggest fucking babies in the
I mean,
world.
to be fair, it's not like just Star Wars fans. It's just any super fan
Like-
of anything.
Yeah.
They all suck. You all suck. If you're super fans of the show, first off, why? But second off, you suck.
We are not beholden to you.
I
Be
just
holding these nuts.
I think that's like Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance is how I want to take in my at least popcorn media. Is just take it all at face value, take it for
Yeah.
what it is, and it's great.
Right.
Yeah, if you try to pick apart this movie, you're not watching this movie right.
Right. That's like a pro. I guess I've always felt this way, but as you get older and older and your time gets shorter and shorter that you have left, you're just like, man, don't give me all this bullshit. I just fucking give it to me. Give me what I want. Like I said, I'm a little piggy. Just do your little Charlotte's Web and I'm there. Just draw me in and keep me alive.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like and yeah, I just just same thing. I don't get why. I just don't get it. It always just feels like a pissing contest of just like, well, I know this much
Yeah.
about this piece of media. Well, yeah, well, I know. Did you know this thing about this piece of media? And,
Yeah.
like, who cares? Like, movies are just movies.
Right.
It's the same thing of like my stance on like adaptations of novels. It's like just view them as separate things. Don't try to compare. Just
Right.
take them each for what they are, and you'll either. I mean, if it's something you like, you'll like them both more probably.
Right. Yeah, look at it as more of like, I mean, that's what like, even when the sequel trilogy of Star Wars came out, like everybody was freaking out because it like undid a lot of the old canon, which I think they had already technically said didn't count anymore. And I was just like, I mean,
had.
it's Star Wars. There's like there's so many different like possibilities in it. You can like move shit with your mind basically. So why can't you just view this as like an alternate universe or something where there's two different things? Like it's so stupid to. It's just like if it's a property that you enjoy, just like you said, just take it at face value. You're basically getting two for the price of one. Like, yeah, you can like both.
Yeah.
They don't have to be exact.
Yeah, exactly. We good
Yeah.
to move on to wrap ups now?
Yeah.
I think that was a good
I did not think
That
we
seemed
would
like-
go that long. I thought we'd
seemed
be
like
like,
a good. Yeah, I mean it wasn't as much of me as I thought it would be either from after I started off, but
yeah.
that seemed like a good wrap up. That was a good convo. I'm pleasantly surprised because I was worried it was going to be a monologue. I'll go first just because I think I've played my cards the most, in like my opinion, I guess. Yep, this is a absolute spud. I won't count it in the thing, but I gave this a 7 out of 10. It's a ton of fun. There's like a little bit of like slow parts here and there. You're here for the action and the corny like dialogue between the hero and the villains. And in that regard, it hits like the entire time, in my opinion. So yeah, absolute spud. It's Cheetos aren't potatoes, are they? Are they potato chips?
What? No, that's just like hardened cotton candy that they spray with like cheese dust.
Well,
It's cornstarch.
Yeah.
well, okay, here we go. If the analogy here is potatoes are comic book movies, but because this like doesn't resemble a comic book movie so much, in my opinion, or it's like its own thing, this movie is a flamin' hot Cheeto.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's it.
Yeah, I don't think that I would. Yeah, it's hard to say that this should not have been in the Dud Cup. I think I said that. I'm not. I guess I would say it's a spud, but I also would give it like probably a 6.5. I don't think I would
okay.
go as high as 7, but like it's above 6. It's in there someplace.
Yeah.
It's definitely like you said, it's a ton of fun. It's roughly 13,500 tons of fun, I would say.
Is that how heavy the Bagger 288 is?
Yeah.
I'm glad I got that. I don't hear you saying vengeance, but I'm like, that sounds like the approximate weight of the Bagger 288.
You're like Rain Man. 246, 246, 246, 246, 26. Yeah. It's a popcorn movie. It's just like, do you have people over and you guys all have your Affliction t-shirts on and you just got back from a Five Finger Death Punch concert and you just want to like come
Vibe
down
with the boys.
Yeah, you just want to come down off your acid trip and you got like a bunch of like Lay's barbecue chips. Yeah. this is it. This is the one for you.
Do we want to make an official amendment, and shift this to the normal?
Yeah, I would say so.
You think so?
I would say if a majority is over, like, one rates it a number and it's over, like,
No.
3.
See, this is the difference, is because, like, I think this one is easy. This is what differentiates it from a dud. Is this is easier for me to put a number on, because I love Ben and Arthur. To me, in a sense, that's a 10 out of 10 movie, or like 9 out of 10 in a sense, but like it's not, because it's like it's hard to put a number on Ben and Arthur. This one, it wasn't as hard, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. If that's unless you got to think more about your number, Nick.
Because I will say, I mean, we had a good discussion about it, and I see what you guys are talking about with, like, yeah, it's like a popcorn flick, et cetera, et cetera. It just purely going off my viewing experience, it's like it's a dud for me.
Okay.
I was like, the whole time, and maybe I was looking at it in too much of like a technical way, but I was just like, the way, like the shaky cam, the color shit, I was like, it was like rainbow puke on the screen at times for me, and I was like not super into it. Not enough Cage being weird, not enough of that. Yeah, I don't know, like it definitely had its moments. Bagger 288 is a plus. But like, I guess just for my own movie going experience, I was not super stoked about it, even though I think the conversation, I'm trying to stick to my guns, because I feel like I'm very easily influenced by
Stick to your guns.
by the conversations that we have in like the review, and I feel like usually that bumps things up a few points, because it's like, oh yeah, actually now that I hear it from your perspective, like, oh yeah, that kind of paints that in a new light for me. Oh, okay. And like usually I bump it up a few, but just going on how it went last night, it's still pretty much a dud for me. And if I had to rate it on like the normal scale that we do for our normal movies, I'm sitting at like a 4.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it's not terrible.
Sure.
But it wasn't for me. Wasn't for me.
So I will agree with you on the shaky cam. The shaky cam, especially at first, was like so jarring. I was like,
Right.
this dude has Parkinson's, who's ever holding the camera, because it's fucking ridiculous.
But then TJ's like, he's literally hanging from a helicopter. So like, okay, well, maybe
Yeah.
that explains it
Yeah.
a little bit.
That you're saying like you're usually influenced, and like most of the time I try not to do. Most of the time I am just doing my opinion. This time I think with like how you guys started it, I was trying to like champion for this movie, and that's why I was like, but guys, there's some really cool aspects to like the filmmaking. And like how I was like, just watch it as like a dumb fun movie and you'll like it more. So I was kind of like trying to play quarterback for Ghost Rider this time.
But would you say, Nick, that it's a dud movie? Should it be in
he
the
did say
dud
it was a
movie,
dud. Oh,
or should it
in
be
the dud
a
cut?
bad movie? That's
Oh, that's tough, because I feel like it doesn't really fall into that dud category of like so bad it's good, like.
right.
Because on a technical level, I mean, I know I did just kind of shit on it, but it's like, even shaky cam shit aside, like it's competently shot for the most part. Like it's
Right.
definitely a product of its time, because I feel
Yeah.
like that style was very popular. There's like a 2011, 2012 era movie.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think it necessarily would be. I feel like it's in the dud cut because Nicolas Cage is one of those actors that like
Right.
kind of. It's like, oh yeah, it's a Nicolas Cage movie. He's gonna be wacky and weird, and like that's his whole thing. It's like Nicolas Cage is a good actor. Like it's
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's because there's like 2 or 3 performances of his where he's like being weird, or he's in like a few clunker movies where like he just kind of gets his reputation as a bad actor, and it's like I heavily disagree with that. And so it's like people will overcorrect and be like, oh yeah, he's a terrible actor. All of his movies are like so zany and so bad they're good, and it's like they're not all like that at all.
That's the thing, is like kind of what Travis was saying before about like taking it so seriously. I think he said this like in an interview or whatever, that Nicolas Cage has said that he takes every single role that he takes seriously.
You can tell.
And that's what makes him like such a fucking treasure. Like, because he doesn't get in his own head about any movie that he's in. He
a national treasure.
He's a national treasure.
Yeah.
He gives everything. It's I mean, it's great. It's like, it's so commendable to like,
especially coming from like where he comes from. Like, he wasn't like some dude who like was home. He's not like what is it, Tiffany Haddish, where he like lived out of his car for like 15 years till he finally made it.
He's a fucking Coppola.
Yeah, like, he's very privilleged, and he still is like, I'm gonna take every fucking opportunity I get.
Carve my
I'm
own
gonna do
path.
the Wicker Man, and I'm gonna freak out.
I think some of it is that like earlier on in his career he did stuff, like Con Air. That's a great movie, but it's not a great movie in the sense that like it's a good movie. It's
not like
this.
Shawshank Redemption, like kinda,
Right. It's a very like popcorn 80s
Yeah.
action movie style thing, and his performances, he's just very like muted in that movie. And like, when he's allowed to do his thing, it's a little like Al Pacino-esque, where it's a little like one note where he has his little thing that he does. But yeah, it's still super entertaining. Like I love Kick-Ass, and it's mainly because of him and like his one scene at the end. Like that part gets me fucking choked up. He's so good in that. But yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I think anybody, like a critic, could come in and watch this movie and say the total opposite. They'd be like, "Oh, Nicolas Cage sucks in this movie. He's so annoying." And like Ciarán Hinds is so fucking bad in this movie. He's so cheesy or whatever. But like, no, like I think
it's not.
I think they know what they're doing, and like I've seen all of these actors give really good performances in movies before or shows or whatever. And so they can. They know what they're doing. So
right. You can tell. I feel it felt really obvious that like these guys are giving a good performance. It's just like if you were watching this at like a dentist office and the TV was like muted and you couldn't like hear the words, you'd be like, "Man, these guys are fucking killing it. This movie looks awesome." But like then you hear the words and you're like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah.
Well, it's also just because Nicolas Cage was an internet meme for a long time,
right?
Like that 2011, like it was like Stumble Upon. It would be all these different iterations. There'd be like Pickleous Cage. We have like a Nicolas Cage pickle magnet. Like Chloe's mom got that for us because it was like, "Oh, get it because it's a pun." There's like, there's all these iterations of Nicolas. He's like a meme, and like I think people just, as soon as they see him like tagged on a movie, they're like, okay, this is going to be a bad movie. That's like, I mean, I think when we talked about Pig not too long ago, I was like worried that going into the theater and seeing Pig, that there were going to be people there that were purely going to see it because they thought it was going to be like Nicolas Cage does John Wick, and he was going to be crazy and zany and freaking out, and that movie was 100% not that. And like his performance in that movie is very good, but it's like somber and subdued, and it's like, no, the guy has range. But I think people just like they don't believe it because they see the Ghost Rider movies, or like they see that picture of him from Con Air with like the super long hair, and they're like, the funny meme guy.
Or like from Face Off or whatever, like that kind of shit. He actually did an AMA on Reddit like a month ago, maybe, for whatever Curious Case of
the
Nicolas Cage or whatever it's called,
the
Unfathomable Talent or something.
Unbearable Weight of.
Did you see that?
Massive Talent. No, not yet.
Talent. No.
I'm cautious about it. I've seen some people say that they weren't like a super fan of it. I don't know if it's like leaning too much into the mythos. Maybe I just need to.
The trailers haven't really convinced me. I'll check it out when it's like on streaming or.
I just think I think you have to
it.
go into it with the mindset of like this movie, where it's just like it's gonna be a dumb but fun movie. Like I think people, it is very like a popular thing to be like a contrarian and be like, no, this is not art. kind of thing. And like, no, it's just like supposed to be entertaining, and it's Nick Cage doing his thing, and it's Nick Cage doing his weird thing. Like, yeah, just enjoy it. You just have to like it for what it's gonna be, which is just
I mean,
dumb.
he himself is kind of a comic book character. He changed his
Right.
last name from Coppola to Cage because
Right.
of
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage. Yeah,
Right.
like he literally changed his name to be a comic book character name.
Yeah.
Right. And that's like, that sounds like going back to the Stained fan like Affliction t-shirt. That sounds like the thing, like he just went on a bender one weekend and was just like, he had to change his name for whatever acting purposes, and he just like came up with that, like a bad tattoo idea, and just like Luke Cage is cool.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stick to that for the rest of my life.
Well, that was also him like trying to not be appearing to be a nepotism hire.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is cool. It's
Yeah.
It's good. I like that we had our post Ghost Rider. We had another chat. So now do we want to give Nicolas Cage a rating?
Fucking 10.
10 out of 10, easy.
If you can add that to like Letterboxd lists, we'll have like all our movies, and then top of the list is just Nicolas Cage, above The Matrix and Amadeus. Just Nicolas Cage.
I'm giving Nick Cage 288 out of 10.
Nice.
188 out of 10.
I'll give him a 666 out of 10.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Did we do it?
We did it. Did we segue into the ad? No.
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 I was setting it. Are we finished with the movie review?
Yeah.
Yes. Hell yes.
Let's take a controlled slide into the ad break.
Nice.
I want to refill my coffee, but I'm going to sprint.
Okay.
I really don't care. Okay.
And welcome back to There Will Be Not
Yeah.
Nick. We were
It's
talking
great because-
earlier about the thing, so TJ, let's get back to what you were saying. That was a great sample preview of There Will Be Duds. But
Yes,
let's get back
yeah.
to the topic.
It's great. Yeah, I'm glad because there was something right at the tail end of that, before the Nicolas Cage conversation, that is perfect for our episode today. So Nick even mentioned before that he listened to our show apparently, and yet when we were doing our wrap ups, he was talking about how easily influenced he is, and
Right.
yet that's kind of the topic of our episode last
Right.
week. So. He says he listens, but I don't think he really understands the essence of There Will Be Nick, or what
Very
we're talking
influenced by a sticker that says
Right.
Criterion Collection or
Right.
A24. Right.
about.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and he's trying to lump There Will Be Duds in with in essence something like Criterion Collection or A24 as something
Right.
to influence. And I thought it was interesting that he brought that up while apparently being a fan of our show.
Right.
I think he might view our show in the sense that one would view Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, where like you don't really look into the meaning behind the surface, but I think that you really need to do that with our show to kind of understand it. You know?
Yeah, and I think that if I went onto Tumblr and found some Spirit of Vengeance fan art and threw it on a bot, put a Criterion thing on top of it, he would give this movie a 9. That was perfect.
that was fucking perfect.
Are we back?
When I
I'm
edit the
thinking
video,
we're back.
I'm thinking we're back. When I edit this VOD, I think I might just, on accident, I'm just
starting.
that there will be Nick, or there won't be Nick. So it'll just be like a 5-minute episode this week.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, we should have a subtitle for under There Will Be Duds channel that people can just like search, and it'll just be all that won't be Nick episodes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's gonna start bringing a piss jar in and like a gallon of coffee, so he doesn't have to leave the room.
I'm never leaving this room.
I could since this is perfect. Since I run the ninja rooms now, I could just block him from the room temporarily.
God damn it.
Just black his audio and black our audio so we can still see him reacting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just put like on the VOD, put like a jail cell filter on top of the.
Yeah. Okay, so getting into post chat.
Yeah.
I think we kind of been waffling on this for a bit. I think we should just get to it.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
For Wendy's.
Okay.
You guys go with that.
Oh.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because
I guess-
Isaiah won't be back from his honeymoon, so we wouldn't be able to do it for
It's
like
gonna be-
2 weeks,
yeah.
3 weeks.
So do we want to not right now, but like do we want, should I splice in for the VOD at least like the show, or we could just do like a link in the description or something like that.
Yeah,
to
just put up a link
Wendy's.
right now. Can you
Just
do
do-
that
okay.
for live?
There we go.
Probably
Right
not.
Right there.
Let's all point
Yeah.
different directions.
Oh no,
Braided bunch.
Nick's got it pretty. We're kind of pointing.
Yeah.
The same,
Yeah. There we
so
go. There we go.
Travis, go opposite.
No, I'm intentionally pointing the wrong direction.
Okay. Yeah. So we a couple weeks ago, God, like almost like a couple months ago now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No, like literally almost 2 months ago.
Fuck me. It doesn't
Well,
feel
when we
like
film,
that long.
well, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at
When we
the.
film.
I have it open up on YouTube right now, and there's like snow on the ground. So yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like
No, it was March.
72 degrees.
Beginning of March, so
Yeah.
It's March.
like when it started.
29th.
Uh,
Because you say the date in
Something
the
wrong.
movie, and it's the same
Oh,
day
that's
that
right.
we filmed it.
25th. It's something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
a really forgettable number. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Whichever one.
Yeah.
it is.
Almost as forgettable as the plot to Spirit of Vengeance,
Um,
which was a great movie.
but yeah, so
March
we did
25th,
a
you're right.
we do movies for a film contest locally, and we did one this year. And as always, we didn't get anything, but people
Yeah.
seemed to like it, I guess.
Yeah, everybody seemed to like it, but
Yeah.
unfortunately,
It played really well.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, we usually try to like, I guess, mention that when we have a new project. So check out the link if you like. It also just got accepted to the Gen Con Film Festival in Indianapolis. That's another reason to kind of bring it up for this. So hey, all our fans, if you're in the area in August, come swing by.
Yeah, and as always, we did it on the subject was D's nuts jokes, of course.
Oh yeah, very very
Uh,
relevant to the
yeah.
show. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
actually, the whole concept. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole concept.
Yeah,
Which actually the whole
that's-
concept came from the Zoomer cryptid thing that
From the
was-
Discovery episode.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Which
And
is
I will
funny.
say, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, aside from Camp Lynch, this is probably like my favorite screening of one of our things. Like obviously, Camp Lynch was amazing because it was last to play, and we were
So good.
losing our minds.
Yeah.
That
was
this
good
one,
because it was like a troll on everybody
Yeah.
else.
And it was
This
the
one-
first time that we showed something like that, because we had
Yeah.
done lynches and stuff like that before, and it was the first time that we were like, "Here, public, check this out."
Yeah.
yeah.
But this one was a really good screening because because comedies tend to play better at these kinds of
Yes.
things, and I think typically we do comedies, but I would say that when we do shorts for things, we're not consciously going out of our way to make it appeal to like the masses, not in like a "we're so funny you don't get it" kind of way, but we do stuff that we think is funny, and if you don't get it and you don't think it's funny, like I don't care because we think it's funny, kind of like that. I feel like that's our general. We do it for us, really.
Right.
As I'm wearing a Founders shirt.
to
But
think
this
so.
one, people laughed at like the right spots. They laughed where they were supposed to, and TJ heard it too. But like the best part was like the interrogation scene when Isaiah was giving them all of like the leading D's nuts jokes, and I could hear people behind us, like when Isaiah was like, "Yeah, I recently got diagnosed with," and I heard someone behind me go
Yep.
like, "Ligma," and I was like, "Yes, they get it.
Yeah.
They get it. They get the joke. They understand what's going on." And it was perfect. I was so happy because I know that when we were like discussing this, like writing it, coming up with the ideas, how we were going to shoot it, we were very like hesitant how we were going to portray it because like film festival audiences can be a mixed bag, and it could be like everyone's parents who were there, like a bunch of boomers, and like they're not. My mom got it. I mean, my mom watched it and she like, okay, I get it.
Okay. Cool.
Maybe she didn't pick up on like I feel like it has good rewatch value because once you know the joke, you go back when Isaiah's like, my name's Candace, I come from Kenya, like that kind of shit. You're like, oh, the whole thing
It's vape juice.
also yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't. I think this was like a Bang situation for me, which was one that we did a while ago for the same festival, where like we shot it, I was liking it, I edited it, and then like when it was a finished product, I was like, I don't know about this one. But then like I think and I think part of it was just like, I'm not sure, like you said, I'm not sure if people are gonna get it. I'm not sure if like the jokes kind of connect in the way that we want to, and just the fact that the reaction was just so strong. I'm like, yeah, I love Wendy's now. So, it's
you love Wendy's now.
Yeah.
I still argue that Bang would have been better if we had named it the original thing, which was Finger Bang.
Was it?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to call it, Finger Bang. That's why we ended with Bang.
Well, I know that. Well, I mean,
I didn't
guess
know
not
that
because of
that was the
Finger Bang,
original idea.
Yeah, I was pushing hard for Finger Bang, but I don't think nobody wanted it because it was too like in
it's
your
about
face.
kids. That's like an old enough title, you know.
Yeah, but that was the whole joke. Is like the kid, like he's like, whatever. I can't remember. Where's the fucking drugs or something like that? And then it cuts and he's like, my mom said no swearing.
Yeah.
It's like kind of supposed to be the same thing. Like they didn't know what finger banging was, but
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyways, this was like one of, I don't know. This was probably this like story idea and like, like plot shit that we like really hammered out the most. Basically, we were like, we didn't shoot for like the first. It's 2 weeks long, and we didn't shoot for like 10 days. It was like we had 1 day to get it all done. So we were like, we were like trying to make sure that we had it all like hammered out, and we did. And it was like, I mean, by the skin of our teeth, basically, it was like, like 9 a.m. to like 10 or something like that.
It was,
my camera just cut out, but I'm still here.
It was a long day.
It was a long day, but it was fun. I mean, we had fun like like almost the whole time. It was just like we were just like laughing. There's so many. Most of it is improv. A lot of it, like the really funny shit, is improv. And there was so much shit that like, well, at least out of the fest cut that had to get taken out, that was just gold.
Welcome back to the
But yeah, it was. There was just some stuff that was just, I don't know, some of the funniest stuff that I think we've done, or like, I don't know, maybe you feel that way all the time when you do something new, but like I'm like something that comes to my mind immediately was the scene when we come up on the campfire, and it's like all of that was just like completely improv. And it was just like we were just like kind of like
so much
flowing.
better than how it was written in the script.
Yeah. And it was just like, I remember like somebody was like, "Oh, what time is it?" And then we're like, "Well, it's got to be 4:20." And then we're like, and it has to be the zooming hour, like the witching hour.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole flub, which, I mean, I guess if somebody went and watched the short and then they're coming back to this to like listen to this, the whole thing where, just to clarify, the thing where we're like, let's take defensive positions or whatever. that was
Two
that was
steps and then okay.
fucking funniest thing. Like we were dying laughing for
It got
I
a
don't know,
laugh,
like
too.
5 minutes. Did it?
Oh,
That's
it did.
great.
Yeah, no. You're like, all right, let's take the defensive positions. You guys get
Yeah.
up, move 2 steps. Okay, that's good. And you guys hunker right back down.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
it definitely got a laugh.
And how that happened was like, like when you're
Miscommunication.
like, well, yeah, it's like we were just improvising. So it's like in my head, I pictured like, okay, let's take defensive position. So we were kind of like in this little semicircle, and I was thinking the 2 people in the back would kind of come up so that we'd just be like in a line. And, nobody else has any idea what's going in my head. So then when I say, let's take defensive positions and then step forward, everybody else is like, oh, okay, I guess we're just moving forward. And then we just started laughing like, what the fuck? Why did we go forward? And I was like, no, I was just going to move forward. Me and Dagan. And then we were like, well, now it's got to be in. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's just like an example of like how shit comes together a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the time was also another like good laugh because you're like, what time is it? And I think Dagan said it's 4:20, and that you like look right in the camera. You're like, that's exactly what time I thought
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
That played
Yeah,
really well.
there was a
I
lot of things where TJ did like he just had like a very like straightforward like I don't know
Yeah.
that like delivery. I don't even know how to like describe it. Just like
It's very
like,
Kevin King from like the Avengers. I think there's
yeah,
like
it's very
okay.
dramatic.
elements of like that.
See, that's interesting
This
because
is really serious, guys.
Yeah.
when we started, I was playing, I just like was defaulting super heavy into Kevin, and then after like the car ride, when I like said that, I like made a conscious effort to not do that and to
Yeah.
try to like do a different character. So I was trying to be like, I guess, more like genial, more like nice, and I mean personally, I don't think that that's a Kevinism. And I really like that. I was like, once I kind of found that thing of like, oh, I'm just going to be very direct about everything, and
Yeah.
I like that avenue
Yeah,
or whatever.
the blooper reel is really good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're like, okay, maybe should we take offensive positions? that
Yeah.
that's one of my favorites. I mean, even like the sort of because like when I was like, because like Andy and I shot most of this.
Mm-hmm.
When I was like shooting, I was using like my zoom lens. I was really trying to get that office type of like sort of mockumentary.
The
type of
shaky
deal.
cam spirit
Shaky.
of vengeance style.
The
Yeah.
shaky.
We had fire and
yeah.
But like all of the shots where like you pick up like the White Claw and you hold it up and look at the camera and like it zooms in like I kind of do that snap zoom and you're like looking at like
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
perfect.
I really like that shot too. There's like
'Cause it's
some
like-
really good use of that.
because it's like we're making this serious thing but it's like such a dumb thing at the same time. Like
yeah,
we're finding trash in the water and you're like
yeah,
look at this.
Which-
this
yeah,
is
out in the woods. Like, oh, this is sign of like zoomer
Yeah.
cryptids.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
not
And you
just
said-
random trash.
And you said the guy, the director of the festival said like his favorite line of like any short that he
That
saw
really-
was the whole thing is vape
Yeah.
juice.
Yeah. I was.
That- That was the funniest like line
I was.
in
I was.
in
I
the
was
whole
pretty.
thing.
I was pretty touched because that was an improv like on the spot, and
Right.
I like, I mean, yeah, it's why I'm so incredibly proud of Avengers, and why like I genuinely, and of course I'm sure I'm influenced by being on it and all my friends being in it, but like
yeah,
I
shout
genuinely.
out Mark Ruffalo and Chris Evans.
Yeah, yeah. Joss Whedon and wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, I genuinely like love Avengers. I'm proud of the work, and I think it's funny as shit. And I can chalk that up to like, sure, I wrote the outline, I wrote the story, but basically everything that people say that isn't me I would say like 95% of the dialogue is completely made up on the spot. And that's why
Right.
I can love it so much, because like I'm so self-conscious about my own writing, about my own like everything. So that when I can like have the story, you know, so it's like everybody's following, everybody knows what's going on or whatever, but people are coming up with shit that's like funny as shit, and I can like genuinely like enjoy it. And I think that's why I really love doing mockumentaries, because of that, because it is really good, really conducive for improvising dialogue. But
Right.
also when I edit them, both Wendy's and Avengers, my editing is almost improvising, because like we shoot so much B-roll or just so much like stuff
Yeah.
where we're not even in character, and I watch everything we shoot, and that's what, like, oh my god, there was literally like 100+ hours maybe of Avengers footage that I had to comb through, and I watch everything, because there'll just be like a second or
Morsels,
something where,
little
like,
things that, yeah.
and I think it adds so much to the scenes, and I love, it's like such, I don't know, it's such a like thrill to find just like a random shot. Like, I mean, I could name ones that like you guys probably wouldn't like know what I'm talking about, but there's so many instances of that in Avengers where I'm like, oh, there's this reaction where like I'm talking, and there's just like this random shot of Isaiah looking so disinterested, and I think it was him. I'm pretty sure it was Isaiah just like kind of waiting between scenes, but it's like, oh, that's
Right.
such a Roger thing to do. So I put it in that scene right there. And like I didn't get to go as crazy with this one. I think we were a bit more controlled, but there's like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I purposely did when I'm doing my my opening monologue where I'm like, oh, you know, it's this day, we're here out in the woods doing this and da da da. And as soon as I start talking about the cryptids, I cut to a shot of Isaiah like walking on like the other side of the pond or whatever. And I did that intentionally. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It definitely doing
there's
like
little things like
improv. We kind of talked about this in the thread when we were discussing it, but like we're not good enough actors to like sell like a script. So like a lot of times, even if we write like a good script, we're not the best at like not making it sound like wooden and just like reciting a line. So it definitely, I think that's part of why I can enjoy it better when it's improv, is like, you know, like when TJ says or like when Isaiah says like fucking White Claw, it's gluten free, like that came out of nowhere, and it's just like, you know, it sounds real. Like
Yeah.
we wouldn't have thought to like do that. And yeah, I don't know, it's like you said, it's just, it feels more natural, and like
Yeah.
people can kind of like expand their own. I mean, there's very limited time, you know, like we had one day, and it's not like when we're coming up with something that we have like ideas for like a character's backstory or who's gonna be who necessarily. We were still like deciding that like day of, essentially, and it like having room to kind of like create your own like vibe for the dude that you're playing is like, it makes it feel more natural, I think, like in like I although we do, I will say that it seems like we do kind of fall back on our same things, like we don't change too much, like we kind of all have our little like semi-narrow like path that we're always on with our characters, but
Yeah, I'm kind of
like
like
we typecast ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I'm kind of like, I play like a Larry David, Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's kind of my default. Like, even though I consider Scarrett and Kevin King, like, I think in the end I made them like different enough, but they are still like similar in the aspect of like they are heightened aspects of like certain parts of my personality.
Right. Yeah, same. I'm usually like kind of a dick and like pretty cynical and like judgmental of like that's like a dumb plan or something like that, and that's same thing.
Although I think in this one, and like this is kind of like what I was meaning, like how I'd made a conscious effort, because Kevin is just a complete asshole. Like that was kind of like almost his defining trait, is he's a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
And so I made a conscious effort to like, okay, I'm not going to be a dick. I'm going to like try to be more nice, and I think we kind of all did that, and I like how that like changed the dynamic where all of us were just kind of airheads, but
Yeah.
good intentioned, I guess. I don't know, or just like
Except for the part where it's a blooper, but where Dagon's like, "Dude, my uncle's in the hospital."
Yeah.
And like, we don't give a shit about your uncle.
yeah. Yeah, I know. I went like way over the top there, but yeah, I guess I'm glad I didn't get a clean take of that because I might have wanted to keep that in, but to me that just like conflicts with the character or whatever.
The vibe, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I typically play the straight man. I guess I'm going off Avengers and
Yeah.
Greg Leibowitz is just like the
Yeah. Or bro.
I don't know.
Bringing it back
Or
to
bro,
that too.
bro, yeah.
Even
You're the
in
straight
this,
man.
you kind of did too.
Yeah, kinda.
You
Yeah.
had a couple
As much as you
flashes,
could.
like where we're like
I wish you could get lower. And I'm like,
Get
I wish
lower.
you paid me more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
but to be fair, you're not like a central character as much. Like you're
Yeah.
so you didn't really have as much opportunity. But yeah. You do kind of play the straight man. You're good.
Yeah.
A good straight man.
I definitely would
That's what
like
the ladies tell me.
I definitely would like next time we do something like this. Like honestly, like personally, not that like I would say never do like narratives again or whatever, or like more structured non-mockumentary style. But like if we just made mockumentaries our thing, I would be 100% okay with it. I was looking at it more as like a crutch before, but I just like I don't know. Christopher Guest made a career off of it, so why not just do that? Like I think it's what we're best at, really. That and
need
like
to
I mean I
do-
love our Lynch stuff, but like
I was just gonna say we need to merge the two ideas.
yeah.
A surrealist documentary.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
if we had done like Camp Lynch, except in like a Blair Witch style, like
That's like
mockumentary style.
that's something we do if we had like a budget for Wendy's, like turning that into a series, like a TV show or like whatever, like I was kind of suggesting. And it's just like every episode is we investigate a new monster of the week.
Yeah,
type
creature
thing.
of the week. Yeah,
Uh,
monster of the
you
week.
could get really trippy with some of them, right? Like some
Yeah.
of them, yeah, that could be fun, but like you need I mean maybe not necessarily a budget, but
Speaking of budget, the budget for this was $0 and 0 cents, as it is
Yeah.
always. Besides, gasoline to get from place to place.
yeah.
And like buying the Little Caesars pizzas that we inhaled in between,
Yeah.
like
We ate
shooting for
one
like 8
meal.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was, I mean, we like the house that we shot in. That was literally a house that we had worked on, and it just happened to be like, maybe I shouldn't say this, but nobody's gonna hear it. But I was just like, this place is like on the way. We could literally stop there. I know the door code. We can get in there. Nobody's living there. We could totally just go in there and fucking do this thing. But then Isaiah it was one of Isaiah's friends, so we're like, oh well, we should just ask him. He's gonna say yeah, but like
Yeah.
we should ask him. And then it's the woods, and then like a deserted parking lot, and like that's it. Oh, and then Dad's house, the fire pit. But
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean,
Our staples.
Yeah.
yeah, everything else is either stuff that we had or found.
Well, it's like
those
and,
are
like,
our
not-
staple locations, but at least we're able to like come up with vastly different ideas every time
Right.
we do in these same
Yeah.
locations.
Yeah, and it's like not to shit on, I guess, some of the other entries
No,
that
go for
were
it.
screened. Oh, okay.
Go for it.
Well, I feel like some of them were definitely like ambitious, where they like tried to shoot in locations like with people, and it just didn't work because, like, obviously you have. I mean, I don't know. We had 48 hours for the Frankfurt one, and we still managed to like do ADR and like get it to like at least sound good too. But these other ones, like they're like, yeah, let's shoot in a restaurant or like a busy place, and you could definitely tell that like they had to like compress the audio to make it tinny because there was obviously so much background noise that like you couldn't hear what people were saying. So it's like, I don't know, I think we play to our strengths and we know what works and we know like what locations we can use to kind of fudge a little bit. Like that cabin that cabin is just like caved in on itself, and I feel like this is like the 4th time we've used it for one of these film festivals. Like anyone, like if anyone is insane enough out there to be like following our work, they'd be like, they keep using this place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like these guys are hacks. They keep going to the same place.
They know where the area we live because
even like the bird sanctuary that we shot at, like we did that for one of my student projects, like out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another reason like I like doing the mockumentaries, because I know my limitations. Like I know, it's, I mean, again, it's probably because I'm using, at least partly it's because I'm using like a 10-year-old editing software, but like it doesn't look as nice as like something that, another like low budget filmmaker can make. But it's like, if we do a mockumentary, it's like, it's okay, right? It just, it fits, it works for that style. Yeah, I hope, I don't know if they're going to do this again, but last time I was at Gen Con, I got to be on like one of the filmmaker panels. And I was on, it was like I was on the creating a film on a small budget panel or something like that. It was specifically about like low budgetness or whatever. I was like, oh, sweet, cool. And basically they were like, okay, as it gets to you, say your name, your movie, and what the budget was, since that was the topic. And like first person goes and they're like, this is my name, this is my movie, and our budget was $20,000. And I was like, oh shit. It's like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. And like I think the lowest one next to me was $8,000. And they got to me and I was like, I was like $50. And I mean, it was kind of because it's a joke in the movie, because I didn't have a number. I'm like, I'm sure we spent some money,
I mean, if you
want
want to factor in
meal?
gas, like
right,
driving to locations, like,
which they
do you wanna
probably
count
do.
that?
The Steak and Shake that you bought.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that like Thor mask was like something that we got from like
Right.
Free Comic Book Day or
No,
something.
it was, I got the, there was like, it was like a pack, and it was, I got it from the
like
dollar
Party
store.
City. Yeah.
Party City.
yeah.
Yeah, but like even,
I would have fucking owned that shit. I would have been like,
no, I mean I did, but if you take all that stuff into consideration, I would say max is like 200, because like we only shot a few days, so yeah, gas wasn't that much for everybody. But yeah, I'm like, if they do those panels again, and I do one for Wendy's, I'm gonna be like, yeah, $0, spent no money on this, and yeah, I'm gonna fully own it.
Yeah, it wasn't the only thing that you could say maybe is like the fake blood,
or again the gas, like
the gas.
Right, but yeah, the fake blood like was just something that Andy had. And like, he uses it for other stuff, and he's just like, yeah, use it, and we used like a little bit, we mixed it with water, and
I'm just saying, because that's the only thing that's like not a renewable resource or something that can't be like reused that we specifically use for this, like.
Yeah, I don't know if they asked me to get specific, I'd be like, I don't know, $10. Like, so yeah.
I guess Isaiah bought White Claw.
Oh, right. Oh,
that's what you should say. Don't say a dollar amount. Say an ounce of fake blood and a case of White Claw. That's the budget.
That's the budget.
I might.
That's
I
a
might
better
do that.
way of saying that.
If I get onto that one, I might do that. I kind of like that. That's a better way to like budget our shorts, I think. Yeah. Actually, little anecdote about that, because we had stuffed all the props in the back of my car for the short. Everybody took their stuff out, but there was still some like random shit in there. So a few days after we finished shooting, we did a like a order from Aldi. Oh, that's funny. I didn't even think of that. I did like coincidentally, where like you put in an online order and then somebody like brings you out to your car in a cart. You know what I'm talking?
Yeah.
Curbside.
Yeah, like curbside order thing. So she has me the back door, like, I think it does maybe, but I got out to open the back door, and as I open it, fucking White Claw cans like roll out, and I was like, oh my god. And then like actually like a couple of them fell onto the pavement and like kinky. Oh, yeah.
That was another visual gag that got some laughs.
I was really surprised about that one. Yeah.
When we're like getting the equipment out of the back of the car, and like we're waiting for the automatic door to like slowly go up, and we're just like standing there, and it's
yeah.
Yeah.
and then we go and like get the stuff out, but we wait for it to get all the way open.
Yeah.
That was the thing that we were kind of like wondering, I think, when we saw the first cut, where it was like, maybe that could get cut because it takes a long time, and I don't know if it's that funny.
Yeah.
And
And
I gotta laugh.
another
I'm
thing that
surprised
just
how
like
well
happened
that worked.
spur of the moment, and it was like, I remember I pushed the button
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm just gonna stand here as close as I can to the door, and I judged
like
it
goes
fucking
by your
perfect.
nose.
It was like,
then-
I was like, I'm committing. I don't care if this fucking con airs my nose bone into my brain. I'm standing here until the door goes past me, and it missed me by like half an inch, and I was like, I was so excited.
I will take some slight ownership of that. I was the one that pressed that we wait until it's completely stopped, because like we were
Yeah,
waiting
'cause-
until it was like up, but I was like,
Right.
no, we have to wait until it has stopped moving before we move.
Yeah, that was.
Like there's a
That's a good blooper too, where I say it's like, this is in my hand.
yeah. Yeah. So now we'll be in the month of June. Stay tuned for our anniversary episode, which we'll announce either next episode or the one after. It's hard to tell when we're recording these like 10 days in advance. I always have to like check a calendar to see when it actually is, but oh, by the way, this was episode 47 of There Will Be Duds.
Nailed it. Got it.
There you go. So anyways, we're in the month of June, so we are back to and I'm going to normalize this instead of calling it, because this is the normal cup, because calling it the good cup, I think, sets too much of a precedent. So dud cup, normal cup. Then you're not
Oh my
saying
god, I
anything's
didn't
good or
realize
bad.
one was that much smaller than the other.
Yeah. Okay, so usually I kind of do this before, so
It's the first
weird.
Ghost Rider.
Oh no, I messed up, guys. Ooh, okay. We're going to be watching Vertigo, directed by Alfred Hitchcock from
I
1968.
can't watch this movie
Oh, because
it gives me vertigo.
Oh,
That's our third Jimmy Stewart movie.
god damn, you're right. Huh. He's our mainstay, I guess.
Yeah.
How about that?
First Hitchcock, third Jimmy Stewart. That's
Yeah.
funny.
I didn't even think of that. I just thought of the only thing I thought, oh hey, it's our first Hitchcock. But yeah, you're right. Nice. This is I've never seen Vertigo. I'm gonna say it.
Really?
This is it's like, I think it's like the only like big Hitchcock that I've never seen. And
I saw it in a film interpretation class
Okay.
when I was at Western a few years ago.
Okay.
The professor wrote a book on Hitchcock, and so we watched like Rear Window, Psycho, Vertigo. Like we watched a bunch of his movies. I really like Rear Window. If that's not in the cup, we should put that one in there.
I think it
Tune
that's
into the-
I mean, I think so. That's my favorite Hitchcock, so
Tune in next time for the next episode of There Won't Be Nick, where we analyze that little.
Oh, I
anecdote.
see. I'm just giving you little
Yeah.
teasers.
yeah.
This whole thing has just been we're just farming info for your
Yeah.
for our other podcast.
Data
that we have.
mining for our
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be cool. I'm excited. I don't think that I've seen a Hitchcock movie that I haven't liked, so this will be interesting. Okay, so if you don't want to be spoiled for Vertigo, watch it before next week. These episodes go live Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We stream the videos, the VODs on Twitch and YouTube, and then podcast form on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more.
Many more.
We also have socials on all the big socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and most recently TikTok, where Nick's been doing some pretty good video edits.
I got to get another one going soon.
Yeah,
I got to find another
there's
one.
got to be some good ones from
Yeah.
Justin to Kelly, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll go through that one and see if I can find them.
Probably some from this, like talking about, I don't know. Oh, there's got to be some from Audition, where we're talking about like the bag dude and like all that shit.
Yeah.
Well, and the whole like penis stare thing that we were talking about last.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That too. So yeah, go all those. Follow us, rate and review on Apple Pods and that stuff. That does really help out. Apparently, I'm talking like I know, like I've had podcasts and popular stuff before.
It turns out it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't help what really helps an Apple Podcast to boost the rankings is to like average number of listens in like a 72-hour period.
Oh, okay. So we just
apparently that's how you like. So what we got to do?
Put it
at you ever heard of the
Get a
band?
bunch of bots.
You ever listen to the band Wolfpack?
I'm aware of them.
They're kind of like a funk band, whatever. But what they gamed Spotify. They made an album called Sleepify, and there was an album that had separate track listings, but the entire thing was silent. And it's called Sleepify because the idea was you put it on your phone and played it while you were sleeping.
Oh,
and that
shit.
would like generate like millions of listens for their songs, and they basically funded another album by money they got from Spotify
That's
by
pretty
releasing an
sweet.
album of complete silence that you listen to while you're sleeping. So every night before you go to bed, listeners, mute your phone, mute the volume, play a random episode.
That's
Just
that's
let
pretty
it-
tight.
Just let it cycle through while you're sleeping. You don't have to listen to us at all if you don't want to.
Yeah, that's mad respect for that. That's pretty sweet.
Spotify changed their like terms of service because of that.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, no, you can't keep doing this.
That's awesome. Okay, so don't rate and
Can't keep
review us.
getting
Just,
away
just
with
fucking
this.
listen to our show, please. All right.
I almost forgot our outro.
Yeah. I am your bagger 288 riding daddy, and I'm scratching at the door. TJ, aka J Spot Jack Cheese, and with me as always.
As always, I am your 2,000-year-old bottle of wine. That was good wine. Nick, aka Dr. Funk on Twitch, and with me as always.
As always, I am your 16.56 megawatts of externally supplied electricity for your bagger 288, Travis, aka the Super General.
Hell yes.
Hell yes. Did we do it?
We did it. Hell yes.
Hell yes.
Hell yes.
Hell yes.